right, man. Let's talk, man. The Lions got rid of Josh Paschal. They finally released him. I heard somebody say get rid of Enrique and Davenport. If my memory don't serve me correctly, I think Davenport's a free agent, so I could be wrong on that. I think it'd be criminal to bring him back at this point. But I mean, who knows, right? Enrique also need to be gone, and y'all know I like Enrique. But you know, Josh Paschal was a guy who came in, NFL with injuries, a bunch of injuries, an illness, a life-threatening illness. Injuries. He was injured throughout his career at Kentucky. He was injured, he got injured at the Senior Bowl, or he was banged up at the Senior Bowl. When he first got here, he was injured. Don't forget that when he first got here, he was injured. So, it's just he been injured his whole foosball career. And that's who Brad Holmes chose to make a second-round draft pick, which is valuable. There's been a lot of great players, picked in the second round. And that's who he chose to hitch his wagon with. And don't forget, his first 2 second-round picks was Le'Veon Enrique, who had a career-threatening back injury coming into the NFL, coming off a season in which he sat out due to the COVID year. Then you turn around and you take Josh Paschal, who has a lot of injury issues. And they was very mum on him last year. Oh, he could come back maybe. And they knew he wasn't coming back. So they found this loophole in which, since he didn't play all last year, they still, had to pay him. So they still probably broke him off some bread, his money. But in reality, it just didn't make no sense. Why keep him on the roster? You can't depend on him. They have no defensive ends on the roster right now. So I guess Al-Quaid Muhammad's still trying to figure out the market, because Bradley Chubbs, I think he just signed to the Buffalo Bills. So the market for defensive ends is starting to materialize now that Trey Hendrickson signed with the Baltimore Ravens. Now, according to the Ravens, some people may say this may be trying to save their face. They were going to use bookends for, Trey Hendrickson and Max Crosby. So they planned on keeping both of them. They planned on getting both of them and really boosting their efforts next season. So I don't know how true that was, but, mathematically, if it's possible, which it probably was, or somebody would have, batted their eye against it, I feel like they probably was planning on doing that. But, ultimately, they signed Trey Hendrickson after the Crosby fallout. It was talking about the Eagles and the Bills was talking to him, and that's where he landed. Chubbs landed in Buffalo. So, the market is probably a little bit shaky right now. For the market is probably a smidget shaky right now. For Al-Quaid Muhammad, and probably a few more dominoes have to fall before he probably figures out where he's going to be playing ball at next year. So, honestly, back on Paschal was just a horrible pick. The foreshadow was there. Climax, every step of the way, he just was injured before he got in the NFL, injured during his NFL career. And it's just like, bro, he wasn't he was horrible at sacking the quarterback, but he got penetration. He was great at stopping the run. He would get back there and he would really get to the quarterback and cause disruptions. And he just couldn't sack the quarterback, but that wasn't the problem, because you had to account for him on the edge. He got back there and he blew plays up. When he did play, he was a damn good, defensive end to be opposite of Aiden Hudson. Now, in theory, a lot of people wanted to be 2 bookends. They want to have, Bruce Smith, and they want to have Lawrence Taylor as bookends. But in reality, that's not all the time. You don't always need that as your 2 defensive ends. You need one guy that can go get the quarterback, another one that can stop the run on that other side, and if they leave a one-on-one, he's capable of getting the sack, really being that muscle on that side. You know what I'm saying? That's pretty much what you're looking for. And, Paschal, I see why they hitched their wagon to him. Because when he played, Nick, when he played, it was phenomenal. But then again, he'll play for a few, stretch, get injured, come back. And last season, we didn't see him at all. So he just is physically can't hold up, even before he put a Lions jersey on. Maybe it's that Kentucky blue and that Lion blue. Maybe he need to go somewhere and put some red on, or some orange on, or some green on somewhere else. And maybe that might do the trick. Maybe green might be too close to blue. Put some purple on or something. But, you know, in reality, glad that he gone. It's nothing personal. It's just that, you know, you getting these injury-prone players in here, you got to get rid of them. You got to get rid of them, bro. That stuff becomes contagious. It becomes contagious when you got an injury. You got an injury guy. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 10. You know, and so on. You want to get some thoroughbreds in here, some guys that can take the grind, especially if you're not going to reform the way you practice. You know, you ain't going to reform the way you practice. So if you're not going to, you know, reform the way you practice as the Detroit Lions, you ain't going to soften up the practice. You need to get some real durable soldiers in here. You know, so about time Paschal was gone. I've been saying it for time and time again. I've been spitting this pimping about him leaving. You can't keep having these guys who are injury prone. They come here and it's contagious. It started to spread like fucking chicken pox. They cannot afford for durability not to be at the top of their board when they picking these guys. That should be above character. That should be above where they from. Man, is he durable or not? That should be the number one question they asking these guys. And if it come down, so we got 2 guys that we like on our board, durability. They cannot afford to take no more of these injury-prone players. I mean, you just think about the guys. F.A. Melifano was always injured. They knew Enrique had an injury history. They knew Paschal had an injury history. Rackstraw, he had a major injury in college. Terrion Arnold, he been injured since he fucking stepped foot in the city of Detroit. And those just a few guys that I can really name. So at what point do you say we're going to be durable? Think about the 3 guys, 2 of the guys that you moved up in the draft for. Sanoy Vaki, he ain't been able to stay healthy. And then when you finally need Manu Giovanni, whatever his name, he get injured after 1 start in Cincinnati. It's like, come on now. It's like, come on now. You handpicking bad fucking produce, dude. You getting the bruised up plums. You getting the black bananas. What the fuck is you doing, Brad? Shit is wild, man. Wow, man. But hey, I wish Paschal nothing but the best. Seemed like a high character guy. But as you see, high character don't translate to productivity in the NFL. Thumbs up the video, share the video, subscribe to the channel. That subscribe button is the bell icon button. Hit all notifications, increase your chance of notifications. We go live or drop video. Peace.